Tony the Clown was used to making people laugh. His painted smile, bright red nose, and oversized shoes had brought joy to children for years. But after years of bouncing from one carnival to another, Tony grew tired of the same old routine. He wanted something more, something different. One day, he stumbled upon a flyer in a dingy rest stop in the middle of nowhere. It was for a carnival in a remote town in Kentucky, a place he'd never heard of, Black Hollow. The name intrigued him. The carnival was set to open just before Halloween, promising dark thrills and chills. Tony figured it would be a change from his usual act. Perhaps he could scare some people for once instead of making them laugh. Little did he know, Black Hollow was a town that kept its secrets buried deep. The journey to Black Hollow was long and winding, through dense woods and over forgotten roads. As Tony drove his van deeper into the Kentucky wilderness, the trees grew taller, their branches thicker, blocking out the light. By the time he reached the town, the sun had dipped below the horizon, and a thick fog had settled over the streets. The town itself was unsettling. Small, dilapidated houses lined the narrow streets, their windows dark and empty. There was no sign of life, no children playing, no chatter from front porches. Just silence. A single flickering streetlight illuminated the path toward the carnival grounds, set in an old field on the outskirts of town. Tony shrugged off the uneasy feeling. It was late, and the town was probably just asleep. He set up his tent and parked his van, ready for the next day's show. But as the night wore on, strange things began to happen. First, he heard soft giggling outside his van. Thinking it was a couple of kids playing pranks, Tony peeked outside. No one was there, just the swirling fog creeping across the ground. Then came the tapping, a soft, rhythmic knock on the window of his van. Tony's heart raced as he turned toward the sound, expecting to see a face pressed against the glass. But again, nothing. He tried to sleep, but every time he closed his eyes, he heard whispers. Soft, unintelligible murmurs filled the air around him, growing louder and louder until they became a maddening hum. When Tony couldn't take it anymore, he sat up, his breath coming in short, panicked gasps. He grabbed a flashlight and stepped outside into the cold, damp air. The carnival tents were shrouded in fog, and the air smelled of decay. Tony's footsteps echoed through the empty field as he searched for the source of the whispers. That's when he saw them. Clowns. Dozens of them, their faces painted with crooked smiles and hollow eyes, standing in a circle around the carnival grounds. They didn't move or speak. They just stared at him. His heart pounded in his chest as he tried to back away, but his feet felt like they were sinking into the ground. The whispers returned, this time louder, more insistent. He could make out words now, chilling and disjointed. "Join us, Tony. You're one of us now." Panicked, Tony turned to run, but the fog seemed to close in, thick and suffocating. The clowns advanced slowly, their heads tilting unnaturally to one side as they moved closer. He tried to scream, but no sound came out. His vision blurred as the world around him twisted and shifted. Then everything went dark. The next morning, the townspeople of Black Hollow found the carnival grounds abandoned. The tent stood empty, and Tony's van was parked where he had left it. But Tony himself was gone. Only his clown suit remained, neatly folded on the front seat, with his painted face staring up from the mask. From that day on, rumors spread about the cursed clown of Black Hollow. Some said Tony had become part of the town, forever haunting the carnival grounds, waiting for the next fool to wander in. Others claimed they still heard laughter echoing through the fog on cold, silent nights. But no one ever saw Tony the Clown again, and no one dared to return to Black Hollow.